Happy October! It's time for our Twitch Partner Experiment check-in. So let's do another quick review of what the purpose of the Twitch Partner Experiment is. Follow Twitch Stream Coach advice, starting a small channel with a relatively non-existent support base with the goal of qualifying for Twitch Partner in just 4 months. Goal number 1 was affiliate by the end of July, and we reached that. Goal number 2 was Patreon by the end of August. We did not reach that. September was kind of a statistically bad month for me, and I think there's a few factors that figure into that. I missed 3 potential streams in September. The first time was because we were kind of in Seattle for PAX West, so it wasn't understood there's not going to be a stream that weekend. But I was very active on social media, so the community was aware, hey, I'm in Seattle, there's stuff going on. I stayed active. It just obviously doesn't reflect onto the Twitch stats when you're active on social media. The second cancellation was just kind of like personal stuff, life happens. And I was having some computer issues. My computer wanted to update every time I would restart it. It would get stuck on these updates and we couldn't figure it out. And it was like a weird glitch in Windows 7 because Windows wants me to not have Windows 7 anymore. But I'm like, nah, man, I want my Windows 7. Just leave it alone and relax. So I finally got it fixed. It works. We're good. And then this past weekend was actually a third cancellation because Oko woke up with a migraine on the day we would typically do Coffee Cats and Chat together. And yes, I can totally stream by myself, but it was the issue of keeping the house kind of quiet and dark and respecting that he, wasn't feeling good and noise was bothering him. So I canceled stream just so he could get over that. And he did. He's fine. It's fantastic. But that did cause me to miss out on a potential stream, especially considering it was TwitchCon weekend. And oh my goodness, we had so many things to talk about from the Twitch, what's that thing called? The thing with Emmett Shear. He did the fireside chat with Zeke. The keynote address. It was called the keynote. So they brought up so many cool things getting ready to happen in Twitch within the next couple weeks and months and next year that we were so excited to talk about that, but then we didn't have the chance to. And I think we could have had a really good stream that day. We did, however, follow up on Sunday. Instead of me just doing art by myself, Oko and I did a project where we discussed it. But because everybody was still at TwitchCon and it was Sunday, it was just a very dead stream. 2 of my streams this month, I actually broke my rule of ending with a raid by not hosting or raiding anybody those 2 times. On September 21st, we were still honestly in recovery mode from PAX. It's like, because I'm an introvert, I get exhausted doing extrovert activities, but we came back, we went straight back to work, and then I'm preparing for an event at work, and I was exhausted and overwhelmed, and I just need to not be on the computer anymore. I wanted to get through my stream and then be done. So I said instead, go through your following list, see who's live, and watch somebody you haven't watched in a while. That's your homework tonight. Watch someone you haven't watched in a while instead of going and hosting a rating, because I just wanted to get off the computer and be done. I mentioned that the stream on the 29th, it was still TwitchCon weekend, so chat, viewership, the entire time I had 1 viewer. So there was only 1 viewer the entire time, and I appreciate that somebody was there watching and chatting, but I have that number, and I know a lot of people say hide that number, but I do it specifically so I can kind of be aware of what's going on and know what are we doing good or bad that could maybe increase viewership. But I really think viewership was down due to TwitchCon for a lot of smaller streams. Kaylee. So, with only a single viewer, I'm like, I don't really feel like a raid or a host is that great of an idea. And especially because it was TwitchCon weekend, there wasn't a lot of people live when I checked. There were people who were doing VODs, or, you know, they had the reruns going on, or they were, you know, the way bigger streamers that I'm like, I'm gonna not do that. So it was another just, you know, I'm gonna end and you guys go watch somebody you haven't watched in a long time. That's what I ask. When I'm not gonna rate or host, I want people to check somebody out that they haven't seen in a while. So during September, I did not have any subscriptions at all. My last subscription came at the end of August when September started, but I had no September subscriptions active. I have one subscriber left. I have one subscriber who is now on a automatic resubscribe, so I have a subscriber that way. But otherwise, I got no new subscribers during August, and I don't know if it was the having to cancel streams or just things people were I don't know. Also, no bits, no tips, basically none of the typical Twitch-related income opportunities other than the automatic resubscription. So my average view count went down, which was primarily due to the kind of the dead streams and the lack of consistent streaming, but we did have a very short stream back at the beginning of the month because our internet just went dead one night. It was like, what? So Oko and I streamed for about half an hour, and then we caught that, wait, what? Why is it dead? What is happening? What? So Oko had to call our internet provider, and they discovered that, yeah, there was actually an outage in the area. So we're like, okay, cool. So what we did instead was we went to the mall and did an Instagram story adventure. Having streams that were lower in numbers, I mean, it was only twice. I had 2 low number streams that I think really affected why I went down from 5 to 3 average viewers for the month. Well, I mean, I know for fact, mathematically, that's what happened. However, hosts have gone up. I now have 2 other people who are hosting me regularly other than just Oko, and I thank you guys so much for those hosts. That's exciting. So as far as goal number 2 goes, opening a Patreon, statistics obviously didn't go up from August enough / at all. So there's no purpose in opening a Patreon right now. I want to work on more content, and I've kind of considered that I want to start a Patreon with the new year. So coming in 2020, I have some ideas for it at this point that I really, some projects I'm really excited about possibly doing that I'd love to open up as a Patreon option. So I'm hoping by the end of the year, I will have statistics that will justify that. So obviously the Twitch partner experiment is going to get some extension, but you know. September also brought on some channel changes because while I liked my branding and my colors and everything, it just didn't feel right for me. It felt very modern, and I have a tendency toward mid-century aesthetic, so the modern look just doesn't fit me. And in the process of making a new starting soon screen, I accidentally clicked something that I'm like, oh, I like it. And the more I looked at it, I'm like, oh, this is very mid-century. This is so, like, it expanded from there, and suddenly I have a much more mid-century aesthetic for my channel than the modern aesthetic that I had, and I love it at this point. And I have so many ideas that I want to do with it in ways that I can expand and work on my skills as an artist to actually make it more fitting for who I am. And I'm really excited about the changes coming up on my channel. So the Twitch Partner Experiment has one more official month before the initial experiment ends, and I go ahead and extend it. So I hope you've stuck with me through the last 3 months and you're curious about how this is going, and I want to keep building on my resources and experience and provide as much as I can, and I'm excited about seeing where things with Twitch go. So, you know, thanks for following along, and we'll see you next month.